lose yesterday 7-1. Wild stat from the weekend. Did you see this about the last 25 games the A's have played in Detroit?
No, but I know the A's have just owned the Tigers, and that's kind of scary.
Last 25 games at Comerica Park, the A's are 21-4.
I'm sorry, what's that?
21-4.
My God.
And the A's aren't particularly good.
No.
And you know what else isn't good right now? Is the Tiger bats. And it feels like a lot of years start this way, and we break out the old cliche. The bats will be fine right after the eclipse.
That's right.
And so we're hoping that maybe tonight, post-eclipse, the bats start to warm up. Okay, so look. The question is, does dropping 2 of the 3 of the A's dampen your enthusiasm for this team? Are you giving it the, oh, crap, back to earth? And for me, it's a huge no. And here's why. Do you know how many days the Tigers spent over 500 last year?
Not many, Doug.
None.
That would qualify as not many.
Do you know how many days they spent over 500 the year before?
Not many, Doug.
They won the opener that year. 2 years ago today, they were 1-0. That was the last time the Tigers were over 500 prior to this season. 2 years ago today.
Nice.
1-0, winning the opener against the White Sox.
Here we come.
And then they spent the rest of that season and all of last season under 500. So the fact that they're 6-3, I will gladly take that. And with being disappointed, dropping 2 or 3 to the A's, but duh, I mean, seasons are filled. They're going to drop 2 or 3 to a bad team again this year, and they're probably going to win 5 of 6 at some point this year. So I guess 6 of 7 is what they ended up winning. It's not the end of the world. There are ebbs and flows of a baseball season. And quite frankly, there's so many guys offensively performing well below the mean, well below their norm. Like, if you think about a guy who's hitting 134 points lower than his typical batting average, and batting average isn't everything. But look at Jake Rogers. Jake Rogers, it's almost funny when you think of this. For him to just be what he normally is. He normally hits 201. Right now he's hitting 067, right? So if guys hit what they normally do, and not everybody, like, we don't know what the norm is for Meadows and Keith, and I'm not sure we can rely on Kerry Carpenter, but guys like Green and Torque and Vierling and Rogers are hitting well below their norm. And
well, I'm not even going to look at that stuff yet. It's 9 games into it, and I would suspect that if Jake Rogers had hits in his next 2 at bats, he'd be back to 200 because that's how early the season is. So none of that matters just yet. What matters is what you're seeing as a whole. And what I didn't like on Saturday, I saw some awful at bats on Saturday. Guys swing the first pitch swinging and didn't care. I'm just swinging at the first pitch, and there were like 3 outs literally on the last 3 pitches of an inning. And that's not the baseball that they're preaching of knowing what the strike zone is and swinging within your means and all that. Trying to work the count, get deeper into a team's bullpen, and that wasn't at all the case on Saturday. And then yesterday, you had a pitcher out there that was throwing 98 miles an hour, but was all over the place.
Yep.
And pitch count got up after a couple innings. Like, okay, good, we're going to knock this guy out early. But then the approach has changed. Pitcher changed a little bit too. He stopped throwing as many fastballs that were all over the place and started dropping in some breaking pitches that went over the zone. But they just did not have good hitting approach over the weekend. They need to wake up, and all the people you mentioned. I mean, it's all the young guys on the team that they have unknowns. It's not like Riley Green has this long track record of being a great major league player. So I mean, I'm not counting on him. You can't count on him yet. What I am counting on is that because they are young, is that I do suspect that their trajectories still have a long way to go in the up column. All of them, Kerry Carpenter included, Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green. These are the guys. I think those are 3 normally pretty good hitters. That through 9 games, it's not a great start for them. Colt Keith, all it takes is one game with 2 hits, and he's right back at it. I like what he's done at the plate. He continues to look good there. Parker Meadows is a concern for me because that was a concern for him in the minor leagues. Could he hit?
Yep. Yeah, but I suspect, look, that some of these guys, you're right, it is very early, but they are going to, some of these guys are going to revert to a bit of the norm. In the meantime, the downside of that is some of the pitchers, too, are probably going to come back down to earth. I mean, some of them have been unworldly, and I would expect that they're going to have a little slap of reality. I mean, like as good as Flaherty looked at his first outing, he struggled mightily yesterday. So, yeah, 248-539-9797. Is your enthusiasm dampened? Are you still excited in spite of the results of the weekend? We got some Red Wing stuff we'll get to. Mondays mean champ and chump. We'll get to that today at